Just so everybody knows, if you guys have a question, what we're trying to do since we have so many people, and we know we have a lot of questions, if you guys can fill out a question form over there and turn it into Norm here, he'll make sure that we're not asking the same questions, that way we can be productive with our time. Yeah, we appreciate that, but it's going to be the easiest way to get through all the questions. Fair enough for us. It's going to be easy enough for us, I get it. Please just take the time to go through some of the questions over there. If you are looking for an answer on some of the basic questions, I'll just kind of give you guys a rundown of some of the questions that I had, right, for Charter when they came in. Everybody good? Everybody can still hear me, right? Okay. So some of the questions that we have are explaining why we had to cut over to a digital signal, right? Just kind of in a basic nutshell. And then channel lineups. I know you guys are all excited about that. Local weather, channel guide, why we went commercial versus residential, those kind of questions. Those are all going to be answered, I assure you of that. Things like TVRs, which I know you guys are all excited about too, right? I'm excited to get my TiVo running again. As we go through, we'll kind of hit on those questions. But if you guys do have specific questions, please write them down. We're expecting probably 150 people here. We did open this up for online, so you guys, I don't know if you guys got the notice, but you could do WebEx and actually come in and watch it. That's what this camera is right here. And actually, if you guys can just say hi to the audience out there. Yep, you know all your neighbors at Sandy Pines. Yep. Hi, everybody. Yeah, we're So, just with a prelude to that, we are trying to open up and make you guys more aware of things that are going on here at Sandy Pines, not just through the committees, right, but actually doing more WebEx and broadcasts. So you guys can see that a lot more from the technology committee. So it's something that we're really trying to promote. I know a lot of you guys can't make it out here, and a lot of you guys can't make it out here either on Thursdays at 7 o'clock. So we get that, but we want to make sure that you guys have the opportunity to come out here and hear us and say what you have to say. But as well, if you cannot get here, then the WebExes will be available for you. We currently have 86 signups for the WebEx, which is pretty good, right? We got another 100 people plus 150 here. That's 250 members that actually care what's going on with Sandy Pines, right? I know we all say we care, but this is actually 250 members that are coming out and saying, hey, I want to know what's going on. Give me the scoop. My neighbor's asking me. I don't know what to tell them anymore. That's what we're doing here. Take a moment, introduce Tom Margarita. Tom's with Charter. He's the reason that you guys are all angry. So, my son is really big. This is not a joke, by the way. My son is really big into cards, so I was looking for a card deck to bring you guys kind of the aces, so I can show you that we didn't have the aces up our sleeve, right? He took them all. So, what I did bring out for you guys is this is a fog machine to simulate the smoke. And this is a Mylar. It's 75 feet long. So I figured we just set it out and simulate the mirrors. That way we can have, you guys can see all the smoke and mirrors right out there, right? We can get it out in the open. So we will be vetting questions. I'll be stopping Tom if he goes long-winded into something that we don't care about. We just want to know about our channel lineup and our DVRs, right? As he's chatting, I might interrupt him, if that's okay with you guys. If not, you can yell at me afterwards. I'll be somewhere over here not. I asked Tom. Oh, I'm I've spoken every face to face, and I feel like I've known most of you guys, because some of you guys. Because I've had an opportunity and a pleasure to speak with all of you about technology that's coming here to Sandy Pines. I am part of your reason, yes, why your internet costs went up. Why your Wi-Fi is not awesome. and why we had a digital cutover. So yes, I'm very, very admitted to take the blame on a lot of that. We at the technology committee had a big undertaking.
John Nowakowski, folks. His name is John Nowakowski. He likes to keep on the down low, and he's pretty good at it. One thing, you folks that are standing over here, there's still some empty chairs over there. If anyone's sitting next to an empty chair, please raise your hand so these folks can come and can grab that if they want to. Thank you.
Thanks, Gene. Now they all know my name. I was trying so you guys didn't know my name. You're just like, hey, you! I could just keep driving in my golf cart. Like. So we'll get right into it. I do have something you guys all need to know is this is being recorded. Okay, so no swearing, some of you. No yelling or outburst. But this is also being broadcast on the web. Okay, so we are all here representing Sandy Pines. So we need to make sure that we're representing it right. We're asking questions that aren't accusations. But some things that we're trying to get to be as better as a community. Whatever you say on the web stays on the web. Okay. My name's John. Here you go, Tom. It's all you, man.
You guys can hear me, yeah? All right. Well, thanks for having me. My name is Tom Margarita. I work for Charter. I am nowhere near the speaker that John is, so you guys are going to have to bear with me on that. Better? Okay. Sorry about that. So the reason I'm here is I was, you guys asked me to come out. I really want to learn, right? I mean, we put solutions like this in place, and it impacts people, right? And it brings change. And some parts of change are good and people are okay with, and some parts cause issues. And like I said, I want to learn about impact. I think I've got a good idea on some of it, but I want to make sure that we understand that, and so that I can take that back to Charter and do what we can to make this better for the largest amount of people possible, right? So that's...
Tom, I have to interrupt here.
Yeah, please.
Can you stand in the middle so the people on the web can see you too and say hi to them? I mean, those are all
yes,
members.
I forgot about the little camera.
Right.
Sorry.
You're already getting game.
It's sweet. All right. So, but they can hear me, right? I don't have to go through everything again? All right, perfect. So again, I want to make sure we field all of your questions. I'm not going to have answers to everything tonight. Again, I want to make sure that where I can answer you guys and give you good information and give you what I believe to be pretty accurate information, and then the things that I don't know answers to, make sure that we have a process by which I can take the questions back and get answers back to these guys so that they can make them available to you. Okay, again, my name is Tom Margarita. Sounds like the drink, spelled a little differently. I'm ready to start taking questions. I mean, essentially, what we've done to this point is Charter had a digital cutover, right? And what that meant, it was for the entire state of Michigan. And my responsibility for that over the past 15 months has been to take large accounts for Charter, mostly universities, resorts, large hotels, properties like this, and get them through that process, right? And what that digital conversion meant was, several years ago, the FCC mandated that broadcast television be transmitted using digital technology, okay? And once that happened, Charter started receiving our feeds of broadcasts digitally. Once that date passed, we started receiving the feed from the broadcasters via digital transmission, okay? And what we did for several years after that was convert that back to analog and transmit it out to our customers, okay? And the reason we did that was we were essentially trying to forestall what you guys are all going through now, right? Which is analog equipment no longer works. Digital cable boxes of some sort, either individually or centralized boxes, became a necessary part of that equation, okay? There are other elements of, I keep moving away from the middle, John. There are other elements of the digital transition from Charter's perspective. The fact that we were transmitting all of that analog video over our network Oh, great. That means I gotta stand still too, right? So the fact that Charter and other cable television companies were transmitting that analog video traffic over our network essentially came to more or less eat up a very large portion of our transmission capabilities across the board, right? For internet, for phone service, and for video. So the fact that we forestalled our move to digital because we didn't believe that our customers were essentially prepared for that, as the need for internet bandwidth increased, it became a bigger and bigger issue for Charter, okay? It required a big investment on our part to maintain that analog signal, but it also became an issue with how much capacity our network could handle overall. Okay, analog video utilizes exponentially more bandwidth to transmit it than digital does. Okay, so Charter essentially has this network, right, which is how the broadcasters connect to us and we connect to all of you. That network has limitations, and Charter is constantly working to build that out and to make more bandwidth available. But analog video became a big problem, and we also had a mandate to convert, right? So the reason that a date was set in each of the markets in Michigan to convert to digital video was really bandwidth driven, and the fact that we were no longer able to support that analog transmission.
So that's awesome, right?
Okay.
So we got digital signal from Charter, right? Awesome.
Yep.
Crystal clear,
Yep.
HD, digital.
Yep.
The word digital, right?
Yes.
So how come we can't record digital with Charter DVRs? Why did that go away? And when can we get it back? We're hoping by this weekend.
So I will tell you, John, that the reason you can't record on those DVRs is because it essentially uses a different type of technology than we are giving it today. Those, I'm sure you've heard the term QAM tuner, right? A QAM tuner is something that allows a television that has it to essentially decrypt or see our video signal, right? Our boxes, while they are digital, right, are not equipped to record QAM signal.
On Charter's end.
Correct. Okay? The other part of that is, in order to do, there's a lot of things on the network between Charter and Sandy Pines, for instance, that require two-way communication, right? So in the old world where we had analog signal, we were just basically sending you guys video, right? And it was a one-way transmission. I don't want to get too caught up in that kind of stuff, but really a lot of the things that we're talking about, having modems inside of Sandy Pines, being able to do things like this, and things that we all love, right? I mean, I love my DVR, right? I love my video on demand. Those are all good things.
Do you have your DVR at home?
Yes, I do.
How come we can't have it?
So you're gonna stand up here the whole night?
See, you thought I was like choosing questions. I'm here to attack this guy.
That's great.
Right? Let's do it.
So, I think the quick answer to that question about DVRs is, we know it's an issue, okay? I believe that we will have a solution that will allow for DVRs inside of places like Sandy Pines. I don't know exactly when that will be, okay? So Charter made a decision on a date, right? I think the date for this area was late June, I think. Okay, see, it's been a long year. Because every month there was 2 or 3 markets that were converting. And once they did that, you know, this whole clear QAM technology and all the different kinds of cable boxes that we now have to put in places, about a year and a half ago, from Charter's perspective, none of those products even existed. Okay, they were out there in the technology world, but Charter didn't have any of them. We hadn't tested any of them. We didn't know the issues with any of them. Yet we still had this date that we were switching to digital, right? And believe me, I got a call from Gene somewhere along the way, and I got a call from every other large customer who had to go through this saying, can we push the date back? Can we push the date back so we have more time to deal with this? And I can tell you guys all kinds of crazy stories about hospitals that were a week from going dark and didn't have any solution, right? And, you know, would it have made a lot of sense to push the date back? It probably, from a practical standpoint, did. From a broad business standpoint, I guess it didn't, right?
How come residential has DVRs and Sandy Pines doesn't?
Same answer to the question, John. You know, it's essentially the technology, this is going to drive me nuts. The technology associated with a centralized distribution system where we don't have to have 2,000 cable boxes at Sandy Pines does not yet support what our version of a DVR or our version of a cable box, okay? There are now in the state of Michigan alone, probably 25,000 outlets that are on the same type of technology that you guys are, 25,000 TVs that are on that same technology.
I don't understand that at all.
That's not good.
I have,
Okay.
but not out
The whole
there.
scheme of things,
I'm sorry?
25,000, the whole.
It's not, no, you're right,
That's
you're right,
like nothing.
correct.
I think what people want to know, you said that this change will come about sometime, you're not sure when. Could that be 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years? Any idea at all?
I know that-
And can Sandy Pines play a role in speeding that up? Meaning that can we house the DVR at the admin building where all the nodes come together to feed Sandy Pines? Is that something that we can talk about with Charter?
Why don't you just talk about DVRs and not talk about the box, that we used to be able to get HBO and Showtime and On Demand and all those things through, that we were willing to pay for.
Okay.
Yeah, the reason I keep going back to DVRs is this, and I'm trying to hammer it home to figure out the DVRs and then punch him in the face on the HBO stuff. I mean, sorry.
Isn't it true that the signals you're sending Sandy Pines now are more compressed than the ones you sent to the residential? The quantum tuner allows you to compress the digital signals more than the digital signals you send to the residential.
I honestly don't know the answer to that question.
So that you could get a wider bandwidth so that you could then sell internet.
I don't think that that's true.
Well, you said you used to convert the digital signal you got over the air to analog.
Yeah?
And yet, you just said the digital signal you got over the air, you still then convert it to a different digital signal to send to us. So you
Correct.
still put in some other technology to convert it instead of just send it.
Well,
Why would
and
you do that?
because the broadcasters,
Convert it smaller.
the broadcasters mandate that their signal be encrypted all the way to the end user, okay?
Not true, because I get it over the air and it's not encrypted. And it has all the information, it tells us what the information is on the program. When you send that signal to me, I'm like, at the same time, I don't know what information is that I'm watching. It's not on the channel that they broadcast it. So you converted it, you stripped away some information. The signal that wasn't encrypted. That's not, so you're saying they might demand that for big users, possibly. But the residential signal that you get over the air is not as compressed as the signal you're sending, and it has the information that you stripped away. I can't see what's on at 8 o'clock and what the description is and all that. My antenna outside can't see all of that. In high definition, not encrypted, nothing. So
So that quantum tuner technology they use, isn't it really true that you compress all the signals?
That's the first time that I've ever heard that. That's, and that, I mean,
So
I,
you
so
don't
I,
have an antenna outside.
I
You have
don't,
an antenna, a my trailer, a dish TV, and charter.
okay?
Correct.
Okay? And my antenna TV will see channel 3, high definition, just fine, and it will tell me not only that, but what's playing, what's about, what the program is. When I look at that same channel on charter, I don't know what's playing, I don't know what's on it. There's no guide. There's, you know,
Well, I mean, I think that all of that information is still there. Okay. No, I don't mean still there, visible on your TVs. Okay.
my TV will see everything there.
Okay.
Okay, and you stripped it away so that you can compress the signal on the cable so that you can then sell us internet. That's a true fact, right? It's all about money, right? Yes or no? It's a business.
Which one of those was my question, I guess?
Your question is it not true that the quantum signal, that the original question was, is it not true that the signal that Sandy Pond gets is different than the residential signal?
It's a different signal.
And they're both digital.
I don't know the
The
answer to
signal
that.
we're getting is more compressed than the one the residential. That's why the DVRs don't work. First of all, I don't have them. I don't care about them.
Okay.
I wish you'd stop talking about them. And talk about some other issues. And the whole point of all that conversion was so that a business decision, so that you can sell people internet.
Well, I think we had internet here before. Right?
Yeah, and but then why did we change it? So you can sell $300 internet instead of $95.
This forum is not to be an accusatory forum.
I asked a question.
You asked a question and you made a rude comment to someone who told you he didn't have the answer. Now, you either straighten up or leave.
Sorry, guys, you gotta understand, we're here to get facts, answers. If we can't answer the question, we can't answer the question. I mean,
Now, I want to make sure that questions that I don't have the answer to, and I'm not a video engineer.
Who's got the answer?
What I said at the beginning of the meeting was that if I don't have answers, part of my role here is to take those questions back and provide answers back to you guys. Okay? That's my commitment to you. All right?
When do we get the answers?
What's the question?
so can we talk about the program guide? When is that coming back? I mean, there's 60 questions over here about the program guide. When is that gonna happen?
It's, you know, I would put that in the same category as the DVR, right? So I mean, I know that these are issues, right? I've spent the last year trying to get everybody,
So Tom,
To the other
we
side.
have 4 channels for Sandy Pines closed circuit TV.
yes.
Is there any possible way that we can take one of those 4 channels and make our own TV guide up and broadcast it on there so they can at least go to there and have a live feed into what's going on?
The only limitation there would be that it would have to be a static guide, right? It's not one that you'll be able to click on the program and change the channel from, right? But absolutely, one of those insertion channels could be used for a guide that lists your channels on it. Absolutely.
Okay. That didn't answer my program guide question. All right. Sorry, Tom.
That's all right. I mean,
What else you got for us?
all I have really is that I'm trying to understand the key issues, which so far to me are DVRs, channel guides, some of the technology questions need
How about
to
on
be.
demand?
On demand.
Okay, so
Premium channel.
everything associated with a cable box,
everything, yeah.
on demand, the guide, premium channels. Sure.
Why were we not treated exactly the same way as the guy across the street? I live in Florida. I'm sure there's a lot of people here that do.
Yeah.
We went through this change 3 years ago. There was nothing to it. Absolutely nothing.
You had to pick up cable
Not
boxes, right?
Dr. Font.
The only outlets in a residential environment that were impacted by the change were ones that didn't have a cable box. Right, so, right.
Correct.
And that was the same with charter
But
until
why
you
were-
get it, well,
why
because,
weren't we allowed to be in that spot?
because this is essentially a large multi-site single account, right? It's a business account with 2,000 outlets
Okay,
on it.
it wasn't the same before?
Well, I mean, it was, except, so it became, so here's what that was gonna look like, okay? There was essentially two paths that those accounts, those customers could go down, right? One was, every TV in your guys' facility gets a box, every single TV, and pays the cost associated with getting boxes on every TV. I'm just trying to explain to you guys what the options are, that's all.
$1.99, the other's $5.99. Okay?
Yep.
Yep.
And then the other option wasn't something that was centralized and didn't require 2,000 cable boxes.
Which took away.
It absolutely took away features.
There were
Yep.
over half the members here had separate services that they were paying for to you, and they were very happy to pay. They ordered those
I
themselves.
understand.
And you lost all that business as well.
Well, like I said, I mean, I
Why are
want,
we different than a city that has all those guys? I don't understand.
well, it's just set up differently, and it doesn't make a ton of sense, right? I mean, Charter has these different categories of customers, right? And you guys fell into one category, and residential is another category, and
I want to finish my book. My book is away from me, right? You ever have anybody take a book away from you?
yeah, that's not
Okay,
good.
you understand.
I do, yeah, and believe me, I mean, I watch TV too, right? And I utilize the stuff that you guys are now missing, right? So I mean, I do understand that this is not an ideal scenario, and that something's gonna have to change if it's gonna be something you guys are gonna be happy with.
Did Charter say it's this or nothing?
I don't think we ever said it's this or nothing. I think what we said was, here's the date at which we have to do something. And if we don't do something, all the TVs are gonna be dark. Right? That's really what we put out there,
Okay.
right? And then inside of that, we talked about options, right?
But not to the members who own the park. There wasn't a survey or anything.
Okay, I'm gonna defer that one to these guys, right? I mean, my relationship was with them, and I, you know, and I tried to do, you know, I'm still here, and I'm gonna continue to try and do. I understand that, but it's important.
I can take that, Tom. Our conversations with Charter at the end of our last contract, to go back to renegotiation, they hooked us up with Tom, who is, like you said, the large account manager. Tom came down and talked to us about the opportunity to get in on the one that we do have. And as opposed to having all the boxes, and then this was going to be a commercial account as opposed to, I don't think we ever really talked about residential accounts. We focused on a business account for cost control and the opportunity to have 100 channels with 80 some at the time high def channels, and so I don't think residential was ever in the conversation as far as I can recall, Tom. We've been staying on commercial and business and the internet and TV portion all along. So.
But Gene, weren't you commercial before? We
That-
bought
that's-
West Bay Sandy Mines for our cable, and yet we were allowed.
We probably were residential before, right?
Long term, I don't know the answer.
Don't know.
All I really had visibility into was probably the previous 5 years.
Yeah, the transition over to you was either a transition because we were business and the business model changed, or we were residential and they moved us to business. I'm not sure.
Why are we classified as
Business.
Why?
Single account, Tom, you want to take that one?
Live here is what I'm getting at, they're not a business, they're people that live here.
No, it's a business. It's an RV park. Yeah, oh yeah.
It's a profit, not
No, it's not a nonprofit park. We lost the nonprofit status about 17 years ago.
questions?
You guys are doing pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
let's keep on hitting on them.
Right?
How about a survey, just to prove how many people are happy?
chaos. You ask the question, or everybody else can answer the question, right?
So we can certainly do a survey, but we're in a 5-year contract, so would the survey do any good right now? Not really. Yes, we are stuck with what we have, so let's make hay while the sun's shining type of thing. So let's figure some of these things out that we're having problems with and go forward. We can't go backwards.
I would, Tom, why don't you talk about that fiber line that came into, or John, what do you want to do? Well, very understanding of that.
So as part of this process, we have installed fiber optics into Sandy Pines. I'm sure you guys have seen the orange tubes sticking out of the ground and the trucks rolling around here for the last month or so. Sorry.
Talk a little louder.
Okay. And just remind me, because I'm not the loudest guy in the room. So fiber optics is essentially a high bandwidth transmission mechanism, right? So you guys have coax cabling that goes from distribution points actually to your locations and to your outlets, right? Traditionally, prior to us installing fiber, and I guess really to some degree still, coax was the entire way, right? The entire connection between Charter and Sandy Pines was over coax cable. With the increase in internet bandwidth and the migration of video and telephone over to an internet transmission model, the ability to get fiber optics into an area is an important step towards the future, we believe, right? And it's essentially a way to transmit a lot more information, video, internet, into neighborhoods, cities, apartment buildings. That's what fiber optics does. And Charter's trying to move towards a model where we've got fiber in as many places as we can to optimize what we can give to our customers.
Okay, hang on. So the fiber line was a lot of my doing, and anybody that's heard me talk before knows that I kind of tell the same story on that. In a nutshell, what was going on was the entire entire Sandy Pines was held together with Charter modems, okay, cable modems. All of your security systems, right, our cameras, our gates, our alarms, our controls were all done via cable modems. Okay, I